a social educator by education, and I was a developer by trade when I joined the bank. I never wanted to work for a bank. I joined to do a part-time job. They wanted to build a website in '98. So I ended up coding one of the first Europe's internet banking solutions in '99. And it was geared towards small businesses and their owners and individuals. And I've been creating with my partners and colleagues different services and fun for entrepreneurs since then. And I will be speaking from a vast of experience with obviously from Tochka, previously Bank24, and about Tochka, our accountant and assistant solution, and about EFMA, our UK-based startup. So just a little bit of everything, but I will talk about AI and all of that boring stuff in the very end, because I do think it's boring, it's overhyped, it's about common sense, whether it can be useful or not and how it can be useful. But we like to talk about innovation in the SME sector, what we are doing, but I think bankers are just leaders in creating pain for their clients. And most of our innovations were like, you create a pain for the client, and then you innovate by taking the pain away. And the client is happy and your NPS goes up. And there is a thing that I spoke at the EFMA conference, I think 2 years ago. I hate when they say SMEs, because SMEs depersonalizes actual people. They're actual human beings who decided to take a risk, to become entrepreneurs, and to create a business. We're not serving SMEs, we're serving humans with their expectations, with their characters, with their temperament, with their stress that they're meeting every day, trying to make their business grow and sustain and to provide for their families and for their employees. And if we're successful in making them happy as human beings, we are probably good in serving SMEs as well. And yeah, they've been underserved because they don't fit any of the boxes, and they want to control their finances, and banks do everything to take the control away from them by not showing the statements on time, not being online, being blocked by compliance, all of these things. They want to talk to us 24/7, but we talk to them when it's more convenient for us. And then we have, sometimes it seems like banks have this announcement, okay, we're hiring the most people with less compassion, minimum understanding of how business functions as compliance officers. And they come and they interrogate the clients, and one of the drivers of NPS down is the way compliance treats clients and asks questions. And the loan processes, and then the language bankers use. It was especially designed to make sure clients would get lost, or at least they would feel stupid talking to a bank. And then all the hidden fees when you ask a client, and do you know how much will you pay next month? They would probably never guess. And then incompetent personnel. And all of these pains we as the banks love to create. So, and a little bit about Tochka. It looks like it's one of the, maybe the world's largest digital-only SME bank. I mean, it serves only SMEs. We're going to have maybe even close to 500 clients onboarded by the end of 2019. It's fully digital. We have no branches. I think for the last 6 or whatever years, we've been ranked usability and functionality, and I'll talk about it a bit later about functionality. Amongst Russian banks, and we have NPS between 70 and 78, highest on the market. So how we solve the pain? Well, it's always like convenient tab. Convenient doesn't mean functional. Banks, well, trying to compete at different things, we just add functions and we add integrations. That doesn't necessarily make it more convenient. But what clients actually value is a convenient tab. There were times when Uber, they were playing with the app design. It was like, where do you push to order a taxi, right? So it's about convenience that actually drives the user experience, because again, it's not about SMEs, it's about individuals just like us that just happen to have their own business. I think one of our greatest innovations was, it came from a pain. Once a friend of mine, our client, called me and asked some questions about our services, and I couldn't answer, I couldn't remember, I couldn't help right off the way. And my first reaction was, well, why don't you call our contact center? And then I realized I'm not going to have a friend anymore. Because they will wait, and then they would be switched several times, and then the person there would not be able to help because they don't have permissions. And I think most of the people in this room remember the branches of old, when there was no internet, but when the branches were really empowered to make decisions. When there were people who worked in a branch for 20 years, they knew you, you knew them. They were compliance and loan officer and whatever you need, all in one window. And they could solve all of the things all in one request. It was before the contact centers, right? And we thought, why wouldn't we create something like that in a digital bank? Clients would love that. When they would call, and they would have all of their questions answered from one call with one person, no switching, and the person would be empowered enough to solve any questions they have. Compliance, operations, documents, whatever. Wouldn't that be cool? So that's what we're not 100% successful in that, but 98.5% of calls or chats are resolved without switching by an empowered person from the first contact. And and we train people to use a common language, not a language a bankers use, but a language you would use talking to a child or to your grandmother. I don't know which one needs to be simpler. And obviously it's about simple tariffs. I think another great area where banks can innovate is compliance. It's about being transparent with the client. It's about saying, okay, we don't understand this and that about your business. Can you help us understand? It's about asking for a selfie in front of your shop instead of asking for invoices and documents and contracts and the documents that nobody's never going to read or comment on. It's just about actually being human. And one thing a lot of online banks miss is that we do live in a digital world, but it seems like the world is way too digital, and we miss a human touch sometimes. And I strongly believe that the more digital your proposition is, the more humane you need to be. We give a little bottle of wine to every client who we open an account, or tea if they live in Muslim areas or don't drink wine for some reasons. So it's always a surprise. We send Christmas gifts. We send consultants in online office, online branch, when they consult a client and they just feel for them, they can send them a gift, a soft toy, or write a handwritten note, and we send them by the dozen Russian post is still horrible. You know, they receive it a month later. But it would still be fun. It would still be surprised. They would still go, oh wow, that was cool. And it's about smileys in the chat with the bank, things like that. So you take away the pain, you add a little bit of human touch, but is that enough? And well, we do add, there are screenshots of how Tochka looks like, but it's in Russian, so you can just see that it's nice, and that's about it. And we give a promise that we will solve whatever the problem you have from the first touch, and we are available 24/7, and our reaction time is 2 minutes, and if we don't fit in 2 minutes, we would give you money back for your monthly subscription fee. So we really try to stand for our word. And then obviously, when we were done with, or we thought we were done with taking away the pain that we created for our clients in the first place, we thought, well, it's time to innovate. And we launched the world's first Facebook bot several years ago with paying functionality. And all the competitors said, oh, we want to do the same, and banks started to create Facebook bot. Do you think anybody ever used it seriously? Because it was a toy for us for some reason, not for the clients. And then I think later I kind of understood why. Would you like your mother, your parents, to talk to a bot about their finances? No. So why would you want your clients to do the same? And so playing with innovations that might seem fun for us bankers don't seem to help clients. So we thought about, well, if we're done with pain, can we maybe think about some pleasure? Maybe we can do something useful for them. And then we as bankers, when we had our brainstorming sessions and things like that, we felt into the speed and we thought, oh, we need to help our clients with their business. We're not good enough with our own business. Why should we help anybody? They know how to do their stuff better. They know how to run a flower shop better than we do. We're not good with our own accounting. We help them with theirs. Or let's give them financial advice. I can give financial advice to myself. And I think while bankers think of themselves as smarter than the crowd, we're still unfit to help entrepreneurs. Because nobody likes when somebody talks to them like a smarter one, right? And then I had this fantastic experience. We had blind interviews with business, and we didn't tell them that we're from a bank. We just told them that we're an agency that wants to create a service for entrepreneurs, some just macaroni, and we were talking about that. And then we asked clients about what they're paying and what they need in life and about their finances. Maybe only 1 out of 10 mentioned the bank. They just don't think about us. If everything is working, and if they receive loans on time that they need to help finance their business, they don't think about the banks at all. We are not on their radar. We're absolutely useless to them. When we break, when something doesn't go right, they do think about us. That was such a humbling experience to understand that I am not in the center of somebody's universe. And it's better not to be there. So we thought, well, maybe we'll create a marketplace or an ecosystem. Have you ever seen an entrepreneur that wakes up in the morning and goes, oh, let me Google for a small business ecosystem? Or you would talk to an entrepreneur and ask them, well, what's your largest need? And they would go, a marketplace that was built by my bank for me. That sounds like a problem, right? It looks, from the banker's angle, it looks smart to build ecosystems and marketplaces, and sometimes it does play out well, but a really disappointing thing for me that entrepreneurs actually have never asked for it. When it's convenient, they will grab it, but nobody is searching for a marketplace. And when you try to cross-sell something, they do understand in the bottom of their heart that we're just cross-selling, right? Have you ever been cross-sold stuff? Everybody, right? How do you feel then? Can you tell right the moment when the guy or girl or system starts running a script on you? Our clients would never feel that, right? Wrong, they will. So when we say, oh, we've selected partners and we've done this and we've done that, they just know what we're doing. We're just cross-selling. Whether we white label it or where we try to put our brand on top of it or speculate on the trust that we hardly gained with them by that time, they kind of know we're cross-selling. How can we bypass that? Possibly by creating something of extra value that was not with a bank and was not with a service, but something in between. And that becomes the hard part and the tricky part. And there are a lot of assistant cases, for example, Tochka runs. It's tax calculation for sole traders. It's not tax approximation. It's a hard promise. But we do not promise them that we'll calculate the tax for you. We say them pretty much this, our pitch is like that. You just give us one call, we'll register you as a sole trader, and then you will forget that you are a sole trader. You will live like a regular human being. You would go around doing whatever you do if you're a taxi driver or you train somebody, you're a personal trainer. You just live your life. You use your card as an individual would use their card, and we'll just take care of the rest. You would just have to sign some documents from time to time, and now we will move to a proposition where they don't even have to sign anything. We just do everything on the background. We file that, we calculate the tax, we make a payment, we file the tax return for them, and then we just inform them, hey, it's all been done for you. Just don't worry, keep on living. When they will want to arrest you, we'll tell you. Okay, that was a bad joke. Anyway, and then, again, it's a regulation issue, but doing a cross-border transaction, bankers like to ask questions, and often their questions would end up with saying, oh, we don't like the documents. So we started to sell our clients a thing saying, well, we don't like the documents, but here is a version that would be okay from a law perspective and would suit banking regulation as well. The clients are happy with that but that's again, it's not a lot about pleasure, it's about we created a pain and we're taking the pain. The first one was more about pleasure. And then we did some automation of counters for small retail, and then we're starting to learn how to help small businesses to grow in retail space and also cross-selling to our clients as well. That didn't go well because everybody wanted their products to be distributed amongst Tochka's clients, but nobody wants to buy from them. So there were a lot of sellers, no buyers, didn't fly well. We did invoicing, obviously, that was a simple thing to do, but I think there are a lot of improvements that can be done beyond that. And compliance assistance, clients love that. Again, it was a little bit about the pain, but we also promised some pleasure. We say, okay, we can share with you the rules. If you keep yourself in order and we set them colors and we say, okay, you're doing too much of this type of transactions and these are the partner you're transacting with, we're gonna have questions too, you better provide us something. So it's fair play, and clients actually value that because they don't want their account to be blocked. And then again, that's a little bit more about the pain. And then we thought, okay, maybe it's enough that we can do from the bank. And in 2013, I think, we started Tochka. That's a different startup. It also has an app, and we had this fantastic experiment. We said we would give you, our first landing page for Tochka was, we found you the best accountants on the market, 0 conversion. Client said, I can find myself an accountant. Why would I want to pay you for that, right? Okay, and then we thought, we're a banking solution, and then we give you an accountant and the legal advice, and that costs 1,000 rubles, for example. And client said, oh, that's expensive. And then we changed the landing page and we said, okay, we're an accountancy and we're legal advice, and it's all integrated with banking, and that costs 1,000 rubles. And the client said, that's damn cheap. You should be tricking me. And that was another humbling revelation. When you put banking as the first thing in your proposition, people don't value it. They think you're just too expensive. When you say it's actually something that does value for you, and yeah, it has all the banking data and all the payments that's going to be taken care of, clients go, wow, why it's so cheap? The same price. Conversion different like 3 times on the same landing page, just different order of things. And so what Tochka does, and we're getting close to AI and things like that, what Tochka does, it does accountancy, but 70% of it by now is done by AI. So pretty much we have human accountants that push the buttons, and then machine goes behind that and says, okay, if accountant reconcile this payment this way, I'm going to always reconcile it for this client the same way, and probably for the other client the same way as well. And it has all the document recognition. So clients pretty much, they have the bank feed, and Tochka is integrated with all the major banks now. It's not related to Tochka in any way. I know the names are confusing. It's going to get more confusing in a couple of minutes, but it's AI run. But humans are still supervising that. Humans are answering difficult questions. So we're able to provide the same service times cheaper because of deep integration with the bank, and because a lot of AI is something that accounting companies would never build themselves, but we have a lot of technical expertise could. And then we thought, okay, let's do a startup in a different market. Let's go to UK. And when we started thinking about that, there was no tide around negative NPS with all the banks, and we thought, okay, we're just gonna replicate Tochka, just do a nice banking without a pain, and that would be a hit for a UK market. And that was our original plan. And then we changed our address in an area, just in a jump. We thought, luckily, the Russian market is very well developed. A lot of digital, you've seen Sberbank, Tinkoff is doing amazing stuff. We are doing even more amazing stuff than these two, right? And so a lot of competition. And we see where developed markets go. Large banks, sooner or later, it's going to take them more years than it takes a startup, but they will do all the same functionality. Their service will still be a bit shitty, but it's going to be tolerable. Clients would not want to switch, and they would probably stick with their banks. So in several years down the road, there would be nothing to compete with. Everybody's going to have integrations with everybody, accountancy, invoicing, nice interfaces. It's not a lot of job to copy an interface. When you're agile and stuff, a year, 2 years if you're incredibly slow, but it's going to get done. And we thought, okay, that's going to happen to UK market as well. And I believe it's going to happen to all the markets. Bankers would be done with eliminating the pain. and then interfaces would equalize. Now, okay, a lot of players don't have digital onboarding, but do you believe that in 3 years everybody's going to have some sort of a digital onboarding? Okay. Now, a lot of players use this as a competitive advantage. Several years down the road, it ain't going to be. Even traditional compliance and larger banks kind of twist and say, okay, for these clients, we will ease things out and do digital onboarding and things like that. So, and all these value-added propositions, they would probably also disseminate with time. All the invoicing and account, and everybody's going to have that. So how might we compete? And we thought about something that the banks would just not be able to achieve because it requires too much of concentration and specialization. So NA stands for absolutely no nonsense admin. It's not an interface-based, it's a chat-based solution. It does have a little bit of interface. So your onboarding goes through a chat, and it pretty much understands what you want, and it automates your admin tasks. It has a little bit of intelligence now, more to come, but it already understands that when you invoice somebody, you need to chase it, you need to reconcile it. It takes care of your expenses, automatic categorization, pushes you closer to your VAT recognition and things like that. But it's not about the functionality, it's about the experience. And here is a funny thing about the experience. Obviously, our ambition is to eliminate pain with pleasure, with all these things. Okay, before this picture, the way the whole thing works, it is chat-based, it is automated, it has this smart suggestion buttons that change depending on what you are doing. But if you fail, a human jumps in. And the human knows the context and knows what to do and can pull you through a difficult situation. Because how many of you had this type of conversations with Siri? You ask her to do stuff and she's just plain stupid. Or Alexa, or whatever. How many of you really enjoy and can rely into AI, not AI, into this assistance experience on your smartphones? Anybody? Simple tasks like a timer, sometimes. But out of my 10 attempts to set a timer with Siri, maybe 8 of them are successful. Then she tells me, oh, I can do that, but she actually put a timer on. Just weird stuff. Google is a little bit better, Alexa is a little bit better, but still sometimes it gets you, sometimes it doesn't. You have to repeat, it gets annoying. And with business tasks, it ain't gonna cut. But with added human intelligence, it would. And then I really don't believe in chat interfaces either. And things fully powered by AI. Let's take a very simple example. It's supposed to be a workshop, so let's a little bit of a workshop. Do you think it's close to a perfect user experience? Imagine it has a voice assistant. Hello, I'm a coffee machine. What's your name? I'm Boris. Nice to meet you, Boris. What would you like me to do for you today? An espresso. Would you like a single espresso or a double espresso? I would like a double espresso. Would you like double strength or double volume? And she goes and goes for it. It's much faster. Just you come and push a button, right? I've heard they made another coffee machine. You come to it, and she recognizes you. And she knows that you always do double espresso without sugar. So she sees your face, and she's like, starts preparing it. But imagine you just offered a nice lady at a conference, can I get you a coffee? And she said, yes, I want a cappuccino, and you come to a stupid making, or it starts making, whatever. If it's intelligence, it's probably she. Anyway, but it starts making double espresso, but you want a cappuccino, but she doesn't have a button, you know. All this actually using AI in image recognition, automation of mundane tasks, helping cross-sale, finding great offers. That's something we've been all doing for years. But then there is another level of actually being smart enough to offer solutions, to engage clients in the dialogue, just to give suggestions on time what can be done and how their experience can be improved and how their business can be pushed to a next level or how their admin can be taken care of. And in this moment, the technology is just not there yet. Sometimes it's easier to use a coffee machine with the buttons, but there are already cases where AI or human-powered AI can win. And that's what Anna is doing, and we're at early stages. We would not disclose the numbers and all the same things, like all startups don't. But we found some customers that are just in love with this thing. Not all of them, unfortunately, but some customers, they just marry with this chat idea, with this chat interface, with this idea that this thing talks to you, it suggests, and it helps. We just found it amazing, very sticky, high NPS. But when it fails, we have very friendly humans that catch up on things and help educate. So I'm really honored to be speaking in this room because everybody here, we have this fantastic opportunity to actually change the way not SMEs, but entrepreneurs experience doing business. They don't value banks. We're not in the center of their universe. But we can provide added value by integration. But not just by single sign-on, that doesn't add value. Safari or Chrome, they remember all the passwords for you. That's not a lot of pain. But if we can create extra level of value that is beyond any of the services that are integrated, I think that's the quest that we might win in and bring pleasure to the world around us. Well, thank you, and I'm open for the questions.